Big up, big up, big up, and welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. I'm Liberal 12th Man, and today we are going to be talking a little bit of transfer talk. We're going to be talking a little bit about some of the things that are going on in the world. You'll have to excuse my voice a little bit because I am a little under the weather. It's flu season here. Normally, I don't get sick from the flu. I'm definitely not sick, but I'm certainly, my body is doing the best to battle against it. It doesn't help when it's like 38 degrees or something like that, 37 degrees Celsius at like 11 o'clock at night. So it doesn't really help when there's not much relief going on in the weather. But again, it's another hot one here today. I think it's like 40 degrees Celsius, 41 degrees Celsius, something like that. So I definitely apologize if my voice is not as soothing as it might be normally. But I am certainly excited to be here because it's every opportunity I have to just be with my Reds and be able to talk business and talk fun stuff and talk about like the future and blah, blah, blah. I am good to go. So big up to Redbird, big up to John Conway in the house, big up to MK Toe in the house, big up to you guys, big up to Cedric as well. Hope you're doing well. Hope that your work day is going well. And I hope everything is going good for you too, Lee. How are you doing today? I know that I caught you on mid-break. I'm sorry.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, good. In good spirits. In good spirits. Yeah. After the initial opening to the season, I'm in good spirits and looking forward to Old Trafford.
Good. And I appreciate that, John Conway. Definitely, I appreciate the warm wishes for me to get a little bit better with myself, but I am definitely going to do my best to be there because this weekend it's going to be a big weekend. Got the Red Devils. We travel to Old Trafford, aka Old Toilet, and yeah, it's funny too. How long is that? Have you always called it Old Toilet? I remember I said that one time, and like I've seen more and more people call it Old Toilet lately. And I'm just like,
yes, I don't remember it from years ago. It's not what I remember from a long, long time ago. But certainly since it's looking all weather beaten and it's leaking from its roof, the leaky lair of our hated rivals, their leaky lair. People are getting on board with denouncing it as being a cesspit. Which it is in many ways, anyway.
Yeah, I think because I think like right around when even Cristiano Ronaldo came out and started basically taking a piss on like how the hot tub was like leaking like septic stuff or whatever it was doing, or it was it was like the same hot tub that when he left the club was the same hot tub that they returned to when he returned to the team, like. I think that kind of emphasized the old toilet concept, and especially when the roof started leaking the way it did, it absolutely made it seem like, okay, here we go. So this is funny stuff. Big up, Red Armchair Supporter. Big up to you, brother. How are you doing? Some other stuff. There's some really cool news or reports in the news. And I will begin the show. We might be joined by the Irishman soon, possibly today or not. I'm not certain, but if he is wondering, I did send the link via Twitter. So check your link on there if you can. And big up to Nigel. Good to see you, Nigel. Glad to see you making more of a routine return to the show because you're definitely a valued portion of this show. Definitely appreciate you. And big up Bonkers always giving Bonkers and Honesty, always giving the direct links to the news. Our news correspondents, Bonkers, Hylor, Honesty, all three of them are always on top of that stuff. So appreciate you guys. There's been some talk, especially as of late. Liverpool have led a number of young players, youth players depart Anfield. They've allowed for these players to either leave on permanent deals or on loan deals. And another set of players are set to leave currently as well, with some possibles waiting to find out their futures, basically. One of those players is a player that I was hoping to have Brian here to talk about, because I know he's very high on this player. But Stefan Bajcetic is another player that has now been reportedly put out there as a player that's going to be departing the club. I know he is one player that has been linked with Celta Vigo, a team that he was previously a part of on loan. But other names out there have been, go figure, Real Sociedad is a very interesting name to be put into the mix. Villarreal, Las Palmas, and Valencia are all suitors from La Liga for the highly touted and very, very astute 19-year-old. And, it's another name out there that is kind of making me even more interested, and a name of a team that I would be even more interested in seeing him go to. I don't want him to go to Real Sociedad. Darn those guys. The way that they conducted themselves, and the way that they basically, went about this whole thing of like hemming up the Zubamendi deal. I'm not looking to help them with their team at all by bringing other players to them. I would prefer him to other teams in La Liga, if that's the case. But a team that's been put out there that he is reportedly connected to is RB Salzburg. Apparently, Pep is very, very keen on bringing in Stefan Bajcetic for a loan. And to me, I think that would be a great deal because, let's be honest, I don't think that Bajcetic is a guaranteed starter on this team currently. And I also think that if he were to go to Pep Linders knows his better features, his better he obviously values the player in general. He also the fact that he's coached them in various capacities, whether it was with the youth team or at cup games and such. And on top of that, he'll get first team experience with a quality team. Oh, good. We have the Irishman here with us too. I'm gonna bring him in. I'm glad he's here.
Play Champions League football occasionally. They're not always in it. They don't always get through their qualifier, but
right.
You will find them in the Champions League sometimes. And Pep Linders does know his game. He knows Bacetic's game well. So from that point of view, yes. But I was, perhaps if he did go, prefer him maybe to be in La Liga, in a half decent La Liga side, rather than the best team in Austria.
Yes, definitely agree on that.
I mean, Austria's not a bad league or anything, it's a good league, but maybe I prefer him to be in La Liga, getting experience there.
Okay, I understand that perspective. By the way, big up to Lee, big up to Jimmy, big up to Bernie, big up to Red for Life joining us. Appreciate you guys. I don't know if I did or not, but big up to MK Toe, just in case I didn't say hello. And big up to Brian joining us. How are you doing, Brian?
Very good. Am I in the show? Oh, I am. Yes. Yeah, sorry. I only saw your link there a minute ago. I kind of got distracted. And I just, sorry. Didn't even know where to start.
No worries. I'm glad that you're here because we started to show off with the Bajcetic talk. And I know Bajcetic is a player that you particularly have a big upside on for the future and for the possible contributions he can make to the club. What I don't know if you heard what I just said, but basically there is a long list of teams out there from La Liga at least that are interested in him, whether it's Celta Vigo, Villarreal, Las Palmas, Valencia, and even Real Sociedad being teams from La Liga that are interested in getting Bajcetic on their club as a addition on loan. But the team that seems to be a front runner possibly, and a team that I particularly would like to see him go to, despite it not being La Liga, is that now RB Salzburg has become a front runner in getting Stefan Bajcetic on loan, and wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Are you for, or do you think that's a positive move, or do you think that he should go to La Liga? What are your thoughts on Bajcetic's circumstances?
I thought it was done, so it's not obviously not done, right? Yeah, I mean, it's really 50-50 because, like, it's only because of last season him not playing. I just think minutes are the most important thing. I'd love nothing else, more than having him stay and show him. But if, like I said, it's so important at this time of your development. If you're not going to get on the pitch, I am sad to see him go. Yeah, I did want to see him play a bit more for us. I thought he would have had a role to play, but there seems to be a lot of big decisions being made there. Lots of players going, and I really didn't think he was going to be one of them. But like I said, if Slot came in and said, "No, I really like this guy. I want you're not going to be in the first team, but you're going to get minutes here. You're going to get minutes there. You're always going to be on the bench." Then I would have been like, "Yeah, we'll keep the guy." But if Slot has come in and said, "Yeah, look, you're probably not going to get enough minutes," then the kind of decision I think for his benefit kind of makes itself. But I'd be, yeah. Look, it's he probably gets a soft landing. Like like you were saying when I came in there. It's probably, I assume what you were talking about is that like Linders knows him and he knows Linders, so it probably won't be a big shock, huge adaptation. It'll probably make it a lot easier for him to get a good start. Like the coach knows his game, but overall disappointing. But I can understand it off the back of 0 minutes last season. Well, we look forward to seeing him play. Hopefully, because they do tend to do. I mean, they're getting into the Champions League every year, and even if they don't go far in that, they're going into the Europa League. They are. He will have a lot of European. Hopefully, he'll have a lot of European games to play.
Right.
But yeah, I'm kind of 50-50.
Another team that struggles, but it's not like they're short of players or any shit out of Salzburg because they are the best team in their league. So would he play very often? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, if he's going to go somewhere on loan and he's not getting games there, then that's
me worry at Salzburg because they're the best side in their fucking country. Like, and they're never short of players. It's not like it's going to be hard for them to become a regular. I think. Mind you, who knows? Who knows really? But
no, finish your thought.
Just don't. I'm still in the camp that I just really don't want to see him leave. I don't see why he should leave. Okay, he's had an injury and he was out for ages, but he's back now and he can play again. I mean, it might take a while, but we've got a while. I mean, he doesn't have to play immediately, but I do want to see him start. I want him to stay and start to see him come on and then start games maybe. I don't know.
Well, the key part about that is that some of those clubs want him to play in possibly a different role than we are interested in seeing him play. And it's very interesting. There was also a point. It said, "quote It was reiterated once more that Liverpool want him to play as a midfielder and not as a center."
Yeah. When Fabinho was fit again, when he played, and then Fabinho was fit again, all of a sudden he stayed in the side, in an 8 sometimes, maybe not the whole game, but I liked him there because he can put the ball high up the pitch then and can make off with it, you know what I mean, which he's very adept at doing,
Well, this is what I was trying to say is that was reiterated once more that Liverpool want him to play as a midfielder and not as a center back, a position the 19-year-old played at his former club. Obviously, Bajcetic began his career at Celta, and he came through the club's academy and left when Liverpool paid £225,000 for his signature in December 2020. His position during any loan move is pivotal, and guarantees will be crucial for the Reds to receive if they are to sanction a move this summer.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's what we're talking about. Is someone that's saying, yeah, if he's fit, he's part of my first team plans. Yeah. Look, if he turns up drunk and he's can't play kick a ball. Yeah, he doesn't get in the team, but it's not
Right.
like, oh yeah, we'll take him. I don't know, I might play him. No, it's not like you can demand, but you do want a manager to say, well, what do you want Stefan for? What do you
Yeah.
see him doing?
Yeah.
And you want him
Yeah.
to say, well, I see him being part of our midfield and being part of our first team, all being well and good. That's what you need to hear. Not
Yeah.
some guy that comes in saying, oh, he's going to be backup at Real Madrid or
Right.
Valencia. I'll see it out or
Right.
something.
Right. Exactly. It makes a difference. I mean, you definitely want to get some guarantees on playing time, and also obviously you want to get some guarantees on where you're going to be playing them. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the last thing you want him to do is like learn a new role or a role that you're not interested in him developing. So,
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why the Linders bit makes sense because, I mean, that communication will be a lot easier, you'd imagine, between Linders and us.
Yes,
Then
absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, there's loads of utility players in Dutch football. They do that well. Dutch football produce utility players, and Stefan's another one, like Joe Gomez, that can play several positions, like play centre half, he can play the number 6, he can play further forward in midfield. So maybe Linders will dig taking him to Salzburg, and make him like one of his fucking, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, on the other hand, we have a player that some of us haven't necessarily seen a lot of, being that he's been a player that we've been hearing quite a bit about, but we've seen him here and there. Tyler Morton is reportedly close to moving on to Bayern Leverkusen on loan. On Monday night, Paul Joyce reported that the Times that Bayer Leverkusen have submitted an offer to take Tyler Morton on loan, with Xabi Alonso keen to supplement his squad by adding the midfielder. 21-year-old was given a fair chance by Arne Slot in preseason, but amid a realization that he has several players blocking his pathway to regular first-team action, he's keen to continue his upward trajectory and may find it easier to get minutes with the Bundesliga champions, which says a lot, to be honest with you.
I mean, he's very
you're going to go
ambitious.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's pretty ambitious
okay.
to say. I'm going to go to the German champions, one of the top teams in Germany, and I'll secure time there. Not in the
See, this is just what we were talking about. This to me is like, how can you see him going there and Xabi Alonso saying, "Oh yeah, he's in my first team plans." He couldn't be.
Right.
He couldn't possibly be. I mean, they're trying to defend the Bundesliga and go for the Champions League. You want to go far in the Champions League. I mean, he's good, but is he guaranteed more game time at Leverkusen than at Liverpool? Surely not.
No,
surely
I
not.
Doubt that. I would highly doubt that. But the report adds that Liverpool have previously valued the youngster at £20 million, and that they must now decide whether or not to loan him to Germany for the 24-25 campaign. It's another deal that I know that people are talking about. I know we're going to have an episode or coming up here about Liverpool's actual depth of squad, but what I could say is that Tyler Morton is a talented player. Do I see Tyler Morton getting into this squad? Not particularly, unfortunately, at this moment. Possibly in the future, yes, but at this very moment, no. And the sheer fact that Xabi Alonso, a very talented coach, someone that's obviously done well with taking on young talent and recreating some players' careers, but much less like taking a player and being able to further develop them on a team that you're going to be going up against top play, and you're going to be getting Champions League play. I'm all for it. It's another move that I would be like seeing.
Seems that just about everybody from our younger players is being linked with a move away now, doesn't it? Like, are they going to leave us? Anybody moving?
Well, I think that that's the thing. We'll talk more in depth about that, but I think that is on the show that I spoke of. But I think that one little spoiler alert is that a lot of those youth players that are worthy of playing are with the club. Connor Bradley is a youth player. I know that people don't look at him as such, but he was. It is. Kwanzaa, youth player. I know a lot of people showed he's shown incredible growth in his maturity. But
Elliott's
he's still a young
player. Elliott's not even like a proper full age player.
I mean, like Elliott. I know he's played with the team. He's gotten some very valuable minutes, but he's still. If he hadn't gotten those minutes, he would be considered a youth player in essence because he's at that age, you know. So
he's a young
young
player.
player. Yes.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking the Morton thing. Just quickly on that, I mean, if he was coming back, and for someone who plays in his position as like a holding midfielder, then there's no better person to go and learn off than Xavi Alonso for a year. I mean, I wouldn't mind that
Absolutely.
at all. You know,
Absolutely.
just go and learn some of that Xavi passing magic, you know, and come back. You know, I could take some of that, but yeah, it's again, you know, a lot of these guys, you see them and you don't realize 2021 now is a kind of a crossroads. It's like, you know, either, you know, make a choice or, shit or get off the pot, as they say. Sorry. But, you know, like you got to make a decision for yourself somewhere. Like, do I go or do I stay and fight and probably not play for 2 years and hold on to my Liverpool dream? Or do I just say, you know what, I'm going to take a different path and I'll end up back at the top somewhere else? You know, it's they're all getting to that age now, that 2021 age. Like these days in football, kids are getting into the teams younger. You know,
No doubt.
So it
but
looks like,
but it is like, you know, that number, that percentage of actual players that are youth academy players that go on to make it into the league, much less make it into a top tier club in that league, are minuscule, to say the least. The probability is very, 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 very small. And the sheer fact that we have all these players that are garnishing interest from other big name clubs outside of Liverpool, obviously. Some of the clubs, some are.
I would say right back is the position where we've had probably the most players I can remember over the years coming through from the academy, making 1 or 2 appearances and then going.
Then disappearing.
Yep. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, there's another name. How about this then? There's another name that's on that list of promising players, and that's Liverpool starlet Louis Kumas. He signed a new long-term deal at Anfield earlier this month. I don't think we reported on that, but earlier this month before. He's signed a long-term deal at Anfield earlier this month before completing a season-long loan move to Championship side Stoke City. The 18-year-old, who has already earned 2 senior caps for Wales, made his full league debut for the Potters at the weekend. And unfortunately, they lost 2-1 to West Brom. Nonetheless, despite the defeat, Steven Schumacher, who is the coach, described Kumas as a huge positive for Stoke, with the Liverpool team netting his first goal for the club and coming close to adding 2 more in the game. So we're hoping for big things from Kumas and continued development from him in the Stoke City side. I'm glad to hear that he's doing well out there.
Another goals, yeah. Scored a lot of goals, the lad.
Yeah, it should be good. I mean, look, let's not get it twisted. I get that seeing him go on and seeing some of these players go on to big name clubs would be fantastic. But the one fortunate thing about England is that a championship level team is still a really talented or a really good team. There's some good development ability or capabilities when it comes to playing in a championship level team.
You know, the way I look at it, the way I look at it is, and this is just my kind of intuition, is when we're sending a lad out on loan, if we want to send them to a finishing school, as it were, what you call it over there, like your prep school, you know, like where you go when you learn the finer things, that you're nearly complete as a person, and then they want to bring you back. I think when we want to bring people back and we just want to give them that final kind of whatever it is, we send them to the championship. If we want to send somebody out on loan with a view to maybe expanding their horizons and attracting interest, I think we send them abroad. I just think that's what we do. I think the guys that we're serious about, we send them to the championship so we can keep a really close eye on them. That's just the feeling. That's the way it's just an intuition I have on it. It's when I see a guy go to the championship, I think he's probably coming back to us, a good one. You know, like
Harvey Elliott.
Harvey Elliott, yeah.
Imagine having Rushy as your Uncle Ian. That would be fantastic too. That would be fantastic.
Well, I hope he's not uncle by marriage, because he's changed the old, the missus there a couple of times recently. So I hope he's uncle by by blood. But yeah, I think no, I'm not going to say what I think. Anyway. I think
Yeah.
Russia has
Let's
to
leave
look
it there.
across
Let's
the
leave
track.
that one. Let's leave that one on the table.
Yeah, I can update. I can update.
Big up to Baz joining us as well. Big up Baz. Yeah, there's been also there's a name out there that was interesting
Yeah,
to
nice
hear
one, Baz.
because I don't know extremely a lot about him, but he is a player that, let's be honest, a lot of people have been bringing up this whole Andy Robertson thing, the whole concept of, or the whole idea that Robbo might be, we might need to find a replacement for Robbo, that Robbo might not be able to be a verified solution for us at left back any longer. I'm not one of those people personally. I'm not saying that the panel is either, but I can't speak for the panel per se. But there was a story about a Stade Renas man. His name is Adrian Truffert, and his name has been brought out as a serious option to sign as a possible future replacement for Robbo. He's a 22-year-old, was recently at the Olympics with France. It was been reported by Football Insider that Liverpool manager Arne Slot has identified the young left back as the long-term replacement, possibly for Andy Robertson, who is currently 30 years old. The report adds that he isn't a top priority, but is being looked at very seriously. The Reds' summer so far hasn't been much to do with the succession planning, but they do have the thoughts of knowing that they will have to replace Allison and Robbo and these players that are in their 30s eventually in their futures. Do you know too much about this player? Is anyone in the chat possibly? I know Hyler's in the chat. I know Bonkers is in the chat. I know that they keep a keen eye on some of these players. Do you know anything about this Adrian Truffert? Lee, do you or Brian? You guys can speak freely.
No, I know next to nothing about him.
Okay. Brian, do you know anything about this particular player? Or?
No.
No. Okay.
Adrian Truffaut, is it from Ron?
Truffaut. It's Truff.
Yeah, like Francois Truffaut, yeah.
Yeah.
No idea. He's a right back, is he? Or left back? Sorry, you said left back.
He's a left back.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
He's a left-footed left back. Plays for against Stade Renas.
Wrong. That's just Stade Ron.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
I know. It doesn't sound. It isn't pronounced like it's written. It's just. But we need a left back, right? If we're selling Simi, we're selling Owen Beck. Did we sell Owen Beck? Did I imagine that, or did we sell him?
No. That's something I was going to get up. I was going to bring that up. The next point actually was that we have just put Owen Beck on to loan to the to Rovers actually as well. I think Hyler brought that up in the chat too earlier.
Oh, I thought he went back up to Scotland. Okay, right. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to see it. I think Simi probably might just be, movable maybe, and if he is movable, if he's then we're going to need one. But yeah, literally, I mean, the guy just sounds like he sounds like an artist from the 18th century, doesn't he? I don't know, people in the chat, anyone really know anything about this guy? Anybody know anything about?
The reason why I'm bringing it up too is because of what you just said. With Owen Beck going to Blackburn for for a year loan for the whole 24-25 season, and for the sheer fact that my next question was going to be: are we all, or are some of us still bullish on bringing Aït Nouri in, considering we just saw his performance against Chelsea The right back certainly got hosed defensively by Chelsea. Did not look good, to say the least. Madueke put him on blast, basically. And that was a name that was out there that we were supposedly or reportedly interested in bringing in. He's certainly a very talented player going forward. However, he certainly doesn't bring the defensive capabilities of a Robbo that we've come to appreciate from Robbo at left back, I would say. So even moving beyond Adrian, going beyond the French player, are you bullish on still bringing Aït-Nouri in? Let's just move on to that.
No, Trent's really attacking right back, and to complement him, you need a left back who can actually defend. Someone who's good in a flat back four, and Aït-Nouri won't be that man for us. I don't think we'd be weakened as a defence, like with him and Trent as both full backs. You know what I mean? It'd be too attacking.
Mm-hmm. How about for you, Brian?
Oh yeah, I was never interested really.
No, I wasn't.
He's a great attacking player in it. He's the kind of guy, weirdly, you could see him playing for a team like Real Madrid or Paris Saint-Germain or something like that, because they just have all the ball all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He'd probably be a great, in a team that doesn't really lose that many games.
It's always hard to get a really good attacking left back who can also defend. Do you know what I mean? Never an easy assignment to find that player.
Yeah, for a team like us, we talk about what we need. I never saw it. I really couldn't see it at all. Like, he's some kind of guy that if you happen to be in your team, he'd be great. Like, he could probably play any kind of attacking wing back role, either side if you wanted him to. But no, not if you're trying to really build a proper defense. Not a chance, man.
It's just interesting.
Could you imagine him as the left centre back with Trent playing inverted?
I don't want to, but I mean, I emphasize the fact that obviously Pedro Neto is not going to be a part of this deal, but there was a time and place when we were talking about doing a double swoop and getting Neto and going in with and getting Aït-Nouri as well as part of a deal with the Wolves. But obviously Pedro Neto is going to Chelsea.
I'm glad whoever ideas that was doesn't sign the checks.
Excuse me. Say again.
I'm glad whoever had that idea, I'm glad they don't sign the checks.
Yeah.
Whatever about Neto, but yeah, like I said, Aït-Nouri is one of those guys that weirdly can't really play for a bad team, but could probably play for a really, really good team.
I get what you're saying.
That kind of thing. They're just like a PSG in France. Do you know what I mean? They just dominate. It doesn't really matter if you're not that good at the back. I can see him doing that, but yeah, I think he'd have us tearing our hair out a bit.
Okay. Some good news is that we have signed a player. I know that there's out there people saying, discrediting the fact that we're not signing any players. I understand the fact that some of them will soonly say, well, we signed someone, but he's not a part of the club. He's going back out on loan. Valencia goalkeeper Georgi Mamardashvili he is now the first signing technically of the Arne Slot era at Anfield. It's a deal worth £30 million. It's been agreed for by the Reds, and Echo, this is from the Echo that's who reported this, sees the stopper was in England undergoing a medical. He has already done so. I've actually already seen photos of him wearing a Liverpool kit. Okay, at least a Liverpool warm-up, a Liverpool warm-up kit at least. So you can officially say that it is a done deal. He will return, like I said, for the remainder of the season on loan at the Mestalla. It is something that I think is a very, very good deal. It's something that Liverpool, it's been reported that this, and I've seen this, I've actually read this, I read this report about how Liverpool were looking at the fact of how they understand they got caught out by not getting reserves or players in line for the next transition when it came to Fabinho, when it came to possibly even some of these other roles that we have on our club. And this is their effort to get ahead of the ball in knowing that Ali will be, although Ali has come out and said that he's willing to honor his contract, that he's looking forward to honoring his contract, that he's a Red and he's proud to be a Red, something I really appreciate hearing. We all know that he is in his 30s and he possibly has other aspirations that he would want to take on for the twilight of his career. So when that comes, and with that said, we are preparing this deal. This says a lot about Liverpool and them saying, "Hey, Kelleher, you have an opportunity to be, if you want to stay at this club, you could be the first keeper." But it also says that if you don't, we are preparing for if and when you do leave as well, that we have someone to take that role. And knowing that we have a talented keeper in Yarros too, as a young player, we are doing something that is important, and that is securing a position that is essentially one of the most important positions on the team, and that is goalkeeping.
Well, we do want to be.
I was going to end by saying I know people take a piss at goalkeepers, and they always like to make fun of them and the likes, but realistically, having a top tier goalkeeper is normally the one of the essential components of having a top tier team. This is that simple, in my opinion. Go ahead, Lee. You wanted to add?
Well, yeah.
You should look at it from the point of view that they are preempting age here on this one with Alisson in a way that they didn't with Fabinho. Like they let him age, and then we still haven't replaced him. So at least this shows foresight in the goalkeeping position, and you can't you can't say a bad word against that, can you? Like at least we bought someone, and we're looking at the future in that position.
Mm-hmm. What you want to say, something, Brian?
Well, yeah. I mean, when this came out, I mean, I don't really want to go on like this, but there's a few things that happened this summer, and this is exactly what I said would happen. When this deal came out first, where people were talking about, oh, we're interested in this guy, but we're going to be loaning him back. And I just said, well, that's Ali's replacement then. And there was a lot of kind of, people, oh, no, this, that, oh, well, this is, I mean, tell me that's not what I'm looking at. Tell me that is not what I'm looking at. You don't buy a player like that to come in a year without knowing that this guy is probably going to leave. That's clearly and Ali, as much as he did try and give all the other caveats, he kind of let the cat out of the bag himself in saying that the club has just replaced me long term, and that's what they need to do. I think the only thing we're talking about is whether there's going to be an immediate handover to gloves or whether it's going to be 12 months in it. But as soon as that, people are like saying, like, what's that? It doesn't make sense. Why would you buy a keeper and loan him back? And to me, it's just like, well, we bought Ali's replacement then. That's what we're doing. Clearly.
Yeah. If I'm wrong,
we're planning for
another season after this one on his contract.
We do, and we have an option. We have an option to extend it as well. But I think, like Ali did, leave a couple of little bits and pieces, breadcrumbs in that interview that suggests that, yeah, Mamrashvili isn't coming in here to sit on the bench for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he's, which I'm totally fine with. I would like it to be probably like what you were saying. He comes in next year and Ali stays and he plays he plays every game outside of the Premier League, basically. Ali just plays Premier League games and Mama plays the two leagues and maybe even in Europe.
Right.
But I think at most it's going to be 12 months. But to me, it's good business and it's getting ahead of a lot of people who wouldn't have been out there and realized that was a keeper particularly they would have wanted, but they wouldn't have realized that was a kind of a deal that could have been done to buy him now and loan him back. I think that was a good piece of creative way of working to figure that out and to get ahead of it. to go, well, we can lock that down now, and we don't have to worry about the keeper, because I think he's potentially top 5, 6 in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
Already, so I think he's only going to get better, and it will look like a steal. That's not a lot of money at all.
No,
it really isn't. So
no,
that's what they paid to basically loan Kepa out to Madrid for 2 years. It's not a big amount of money. So
6'7", left-footed, 23 years old. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's definitely something to look forward to in having a player like that.
He's got presence as well. I like the fact he has something about him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He just has something about him, that little bit of extra.
I think he had like the record. I think he had like not the record, but he was like the leading shot stopper, I think in the Euros or something like that, or something.
Oh, he had a great Euros. Yeah. Oh, Georgia's first Euros. They had a great Euros. Even though it's their first major tournament, but he was a standout, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Before we get into the Gomez talk, like I said, we will be getting that's in the topic after this next one. The next question I had was this. So we all know about the Anthony Gordon talk and how that reared its head, then it died, then it reared its head again, and then it died out a little bit more, and then it's like The Walking Dead. It just keeps coming back, It just keeps coming back for more and more, right? Exactly.
Keep it away from me. Keep it away from me.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I could imagine you can picture Anthony Gordon as a zombie now you say it.
We need Rick to help us out.
Shuffling down the road.
Yeah. We all know that we were interested in signing him for a reported $75 million deal. It was reported that Newcastle pulled the plug on the move, and the forward has since remained at St. James Park. Rumors have been swirling ever since at the end of June about whether or not Liverpool would try again to sign the former star. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is now we have refocused our interests on a player that maybe 2 years ago was certainly rated higher than Anthony Gordon. But in Chiesa, would you take, again, I know it's a simple answer because I don't think anyone would take Gordon over Chiesa.
We need to move on from Gordon big time.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
Die at the moment, like Gordon's alive. Remember that from Flash Gordon? Gordon's alive.
Gordon's alive. Yeah.
I think it's Brian Blessed as one of the Hawkmen, and Gordon's alive.
Right, exactly. Big up to Callum, and big up to
Phil. Loads of people. Nalante, Red for Life, loads of people came in. Jimmy, I didn't get a chance to say hello to anybody. Callum, yeah, loads of people. Marianne, yeah, definitely. 6 or 7 people after coming in there that said hello to me. So sorry,
yeah. So I mean, I could obviously, I think it's obvious who we would all prefer to take, especially considering that the Chiesa deal is worth a reported $15 million, primarily because he's on his last year, primarily because Juve wants to move on from the player, primarily because he isn't on exceptional wages. He's on let me double check too, because the wages that I heard, first I heard 80,000, and then I heard that he's on 150,000. Let me double check for you, because that does make a difference. It does make a difference.
I'd be relative to some faith with Chiesa and see if he actually works.
Well, he was 30 million at the start of the season, the start of the transfer window. He's down to 12 now.
Look at all that.
You wait 4 days, you probably get him for 5 minutes. You wait till the end of the transfer window, you probably get him last minute. They're desperate to sell for something, so it's putting me on. It's got my alert on that they're so desperate. Barcelona turned them down, Tottenham turned them down, Chelsea turned them down, weren't prepared to take him. So maybe we've seen something they haven't. Maybe there's reasons they didn't take him. But
Okay, so it is further up. It is further up than I thought.
When you say
I'm gonna
that,
put it
does
into Great British pounds.
it said 150 on transfer market, I thought.
Yeah, it is. Hold on a second. Oops. He is making. Well, no. Well, that's the difference. There is a huge difference. So I just transferred it. He's making like 150,000 euros, but when it comes to what he would be earning here in the equivalent, that is. Hold on a second. Let me see. What is that? No, 151. So he's making 151,000 pounds. That's what it says. A week. 151,000.
Yeah.
That would make him one of the top earners at Liverpool, by the way, if he were to get something similar.
I don't know,
I think, to be, let me double check, but I think that would make him like the fourth highest salary on our team if he got like 151,000. Let me double check on that one.
Yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know. Like if you get the Chiesa 4 years ago.
I mean, would you ask him for a slight salary cut, like a little bit of a haircut to his salary for this all to make sense? And I mean, when I say it slight, meaning like coming at 120,000, not 150,000. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It ends up, it does equal out to be a lot. A big difference.
$1.5 million a year. 30 grand a week is $1.5 million a year, I think. So that'd be the difference, ain't no pocket change. Look, I'd love to see him come in and be that guy that he was a few years ago, but there's just so many kind of it's like, you're driving past your neighbor's house and he's got this really fancy looking car and he's had it on the loan for 2 months now. It's gone from 50 grand down to 15. It's like, well, it looks beautiful. There's obviously something wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
He can't sell this thing, and the price is going down every single day. He's trying, and he really wants to get rid of it. He does not want to keep it. He's prepared to take a big loss on it.
Yeah.
So all of those things.
He has agreed though to for the move to Liverpool. It is reported that he has openly come out to say that he would be open to making the move to Liverpool. There was a report that he preferred to make a move to Barcelona over Liverpool. If that's the case, then go ahead, bro. Have at it. Go to Barcelona. We're not second choice to Barcelona.
They're not gonna pay for you, dude. They're not putting their wages, like it's all about wages at Barca, and they're not putting wages on him. They're not putting wages that they could put somewhere else on him. So I think, look, as a really cheap kind of pickup, like the Gordon, like the attempt, like the thing about Gordon that died the minute they sold those two boys on that mini. People ignored it. They had a mini transfer deadline that they had to get money on last year's books. And that's when Gordon was available. But they sold the two boys, Minte and Anderson.
Right.
And they got
took care of their,
50. That took care of their problem.
Yeah.
So they didn't need, so the Gordon story was ended right there and then. Because now his price has gone back up to full Anthony Gordon price, 70, 75. We were there if it was doable for 40. We would do that deal, but not at 75. So the Chiesa thing again, maybe a little bit kind of opportunistic. You're kind of looking, well, look at that price if he's fit, but is it somebody that we need? Probably not. He's not going to really make the good, decent squad backup for that right-hand side. But like the Chiesa, like we're talking about of 2020, one of the best players at the Euros, then he was a £100 million player. If he could get back to something like that with us, but it's a real risky one. It's a really, really risky one.
Other deal that I want to talk about, obviously someone that was mentioned as being a part of that Gordon deal originally, as trying to be maybe a sweetener in the deal, basically, to get it over the line, was Gomez. Joe Gomez is a name that has been now transferred on to other clubs as having interest in the very talented utility player. And excuse me. And as As I said, like I said, Joe Gomez would join the Newcastle in the 45 million. He's valued at about 45 million pounds currently by Liverpool. Has not stopped rumors that Gomez could still leave Anfield before the transfer window closes, as it appears that Crystal Palace are now the target club to take on bringing in Gomez. It does make sense if they are to unload Gahey to Newcastle for 75 million. They would then need a center back, and they certainly would love to have a quality center back like Joe Gomez, but also have a quality center back that wants to be in London, who has roots in London. So it'd be a natural transition, and it'd be something I think that Joe Gomez would be very, very open to making. Excuse me again. Do you think that we should? Do you think that we should try to push this deal? Is this a deal that makes a lot of sense for us as well, or with the quote unquote concerns of our depth, do we make a wide pitch to Gomez to say and ask him to stay with us for this campaign, this next year's campaign? Lee, what's your thoughts?
The only deal that would make sense there is not using Gomez as a make weight in a Gordon deal. It'd be using Gomez as a make weight in a Gahey deal. Whereas we get Gahey and Joe Gomez would be placing with Crystal Palace, and obviously we'd have to part with some cash, which I think about, I don't know, 30 million would be about enough. Right. For me, Joe Gomez and 30 million would be a good swap for Mark Gahey. But I wouldn't want him to be a make weight in a Gordon deal. I mean, that was a ridiculous idea. So was Quansah. They were both ridiculous ideas, Quansah or Gomez as make weights in a Gordon deal.
Okay. How about for you, Brian?
Yeah, I think Palace would love it. Palace would absolutely love it. It really does. It does fit a lot of the, the gaps that they like, because they've lost. What's his name? Joachim Anderson to Fulham. Probably going to lose Gahey. And I think because of the money, they do have rich owners. They've sold a lot of players. They can pay big wages, kind of on the QT. They can actually pay a lot of money. It's not like Palace back in the day. He could get not 300 grand a week that he could get out in Saudi or something like that. But they could give him a nice wedge and make him maybe potentially a club captain back in London. Solid team that wants to cement their place in the Premier League. Now they're part owners thinking about buggering off and taking over everything. So who knows about that? But I do think he is, like I said. When I was looking at the clubs he's going to, I thought if he was going to leave, it would almost certainly be to London if he could do that. And Palace, I think, it is a gamble, because in 2 years it could have gone south for Palace and they're back in a relegation zone. They are a bit of a gamble as a club. They're not rock solid secure in the Premier League by any stretch. They've got a good manager, but they've got to sell players. So yeah, that's a really tough one, because I think he wants to play now as well. But a random swap deal, I don't know. Gahey, I don't want to go to that lengths to get him. I'd be on the bench, but I'd be hoping to keep him. On the fence, sorry. I'd be hoping to keep him.
Okay.
Yeah, the only way I'd be prepared.
What do you guys feel in the chat? If
someone's coming in directly to replace him is the only way I'd want him to leave.
I'm going to say this.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, sorry.
Bought someone outright, you know what I mean? Didn't have to fuck around like doing part exchanges. We just went out and went, gosh.
Oh yeah, sorry. A lot of what I'm saying on that is kind of under the proviso that we did sign something. Like if we don't sign anybody, then there's no chance I want to go. If we don't sign a new centre half, then there's no way.
Real quick side thought. Bernie says, "What do you think about our loose interest in Kingsley Coman?" I think those days.
He's very available. Apparently, he's very available.
Come and gone. He's a talented player, but he's just his wages are pretty ridiculous, and I think that's the reason why Saudi Arabia is looking like a more likely destination for him than any other club, because a lot of times once you start making those kinds of wages, unless you're already over the hill, to put it politely, chances are you're probably not going to want to take a real haircut to your wages, like would be necessary to make that deal work.
He's a guy that he was so highly rated. PSG as usual let him go because they wanted to buy star players and they let him go. He ends up at Bayern, and he's the guy that scores the goal that beats them 1-0 in the Champions League final. The first one they got to under their Qatari owners, their whole master plan. And Coman is the guy that scores the goal that beats them 1-0. It's just classic PSG. They let go of a player who, then he was someone like, everybody wants him, 250, 300. And I think he definitely, without want to speak for him, I think he might have, he's around 28 now, definitely an eye on a 4-year deal on mega money somewhere. I don't think he's going to be taking a haircut to go and win trophies. He's kind of won all of the trophies. He's never done the Premier League. He probably don't care. So if someone offers him $600,000 a week to go to Al Nassr, I think that's probably what you're looking at.
This is a report. We're coming up on the hour, top of the hour of the show. Appreciate everyone that's joining us today. Again, big up Norm in the house. Norm's in the house. Big up to you, brother. I have something out there that really, really perked my interest, not in a good way, but it was just a story that made me go, really? If that happened, oh my goodness. I'm not going to bury the lead by saying what it would be like, but here's the report. Embrace yourself for this report. I'm going to say it again. Please sit down if you are not sitting down.
Anybody with heart trouble, lean against the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Recent reports have suggested that Salah could make a shock return to Chelsea, where he spent 2 years between 2014 and 16. This is according to, and this is a legitimate source. This is according to The Athletic, who claims that the 32-year-old could consider returning to Stamford Bridge once his Liverpool contract expires. Now, I heard this and it made me angry a little bit inside. And I know it hasn't even happened, and there's no guarantee that this is going to happen. But the sheer fact that a pretty viable source, The Athletic, is putting that out there kind of got me going. Like,
I mean,
it's like it had like El Nino vibes to it a little bit, and at least we got 50 million for El Nino when we did part ways with El Nino, because we all knew that the El Nino that Chelsea was getting was not the El Nino that it wasn't the tropical storm, hurricane that we knew. It was more like a tropical storm maybe or something.
It was a breeze and a bit of rain.
Exactly. But
no,
I just can't see this. I think that if there is anything, Salah, who obviously cares about his legacy, if he would even dare doing this, what do you think this does to his legacy if he were?
No, it's not going to happen. No, let's not say what it would mean for his legacy.
Story. It's like one of those animations you see where somebody goes to picks up a letter, reads it, and then they have a heart attack instantly. And go on the spot, like one of them, isn't it? Like something.
Right.
Yeah, he's not guilty of that at all. Yeah, I don't know who wrote it for the. I know what you're saying, The Athletic, but you know who actually.
I don't have the person who wrote it. I just have that blurb from the fact that it was a report in The Athletic.
Yeah, it wasn't like this isn't Ornstein in The Athletic saying.
Yeah, it's not like David Ornstein most likely or something like that. But
I very much doubt Mo will play for another English guard.
No, definitely not. No chance, man. That's the one thing you can almost say. I mean, unless it was like some random, totally bizarre thing where he went and signed for Hull or something. No, I mean like he signed for Bournemouth or something. because his wife is from Bournemouth or something. You know, something weird like that when he's 35. But yeah, I've seen some mad ones. That's right up there. That is total. That's
I mean,
madness.
Chelsea's connected to every player. Chelsea's connected to every player that's out there when it comes to trying to get someone in through the door.
It's probably good PR for Chelsea.
There's no chance that'll happen. Yeah. I mean, I just think that he certainly would have to contemplate his legacy here to say, I'm going to go to Chelsea.
No, look, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
But,
I wanted to make that exclusive report here. I didn't. Yeah. I wanted to just. I saw this yesterday. I was in a couple of chats and I was like, no, I'm not gonna drop this in the chats of the other stations I was watching. I'm gonna leave this for our station so for our channel so we can chop it up and we can all hear it here first. I just don't think that's happening.
I would have a massive wager against it.
Yeah.
Even in the never say never world of football, I mean, okay, say like Chelsea were this kind of super juggernaut, and last season they'd won Champions League and Premier League. Season before that they'd won league, and they were just this utterly dominant club. You could say, well, maybe potentially he might, but like it's a complete dumpster fire of a club.
Yeah, no, I get it.
None of it makes sense. Like he has no legacy there. Like you talk about, like they treated him like crap. They didn't give him a chance.
But maybe you can see it as like he wants to go back there and prove them, like, oh, you gave up on me.
He's proved them wrong. He's proved them wrong. He doesn't have anything to prove to anybody. He does, especially not Chelsea fans. He's proved to everybody in the world what he is right now. And I just think, like, I was talking to someone the other day, and they were saying, like, he's kind of Afghan Pakistani, but he was saying, like, look, in the Arab Muslim world, Mo Salah is twice as big as Messi. He's 5 times as big as Ronaldo. Like in their world, he is the GOAT. He is the guy. So I think him going back to that part of the world in some way to finish out his career makes sense. I think maybe to give back to that part of the world, maybe, I don't know. But he is literally an icon and a god, not just in Egypt, all across that part of the world,
right,
including Saudi. So the idea that he go back to London to play for those freaking racist bastards, basically, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Enough said. We can move on from that speculation, and we can move on to. I do have one or two more things to talk about. If my throat can hold out.
Well, what about Jadon Sancho? I'll give you a throat.
Oh yeah. That's after this. That's after this. That's after this.
He's getting moved around like a pawn on a chess table.
Yeah, that is the next. That is something next. But before we get into talk about Liverpool, outside of Liverpool news, I did want to bring this up to our Samurai Warrior. Is it a lot of people have been doing the voice of men for Endo, making it sound like it's the end of the road? Get that? Voice to men. Anyway.
Yeah, we get it.
These are like, I'm not going to go there. The 31-year-old was the subject of failed bids from Marseille earlier this summer, but Slot has now stressed that the Japan international still has a big role to play after handing him his first minutes of the season in Sunday's 2-0 win over Brentford. We are really pleased with the way Wata, as he refers to him, is training for us, but he has some good competition, and I think you saw today a good performance from all 3 midfielders. So it is not always about him. It is about also about the others. He'll be important for us during the season because we need all of them. We all know how long a season can be over here and how many players you need, and he is one of them that we are going to need in the upcoming season, unquote. He also goes on to say, this is Arnie Slot speaking, of course. No, because I trust the team. This is when he was asked about whether, he believes in the depth of the team. He says, I trust the team. I inherited a really good team. I think of many young players as well. And I think we all know, especially young players, they can develop. We just try to work as hard as we can with them and trust them a lot. They proved last week that they have earned this trust. And I'm hoping they can show the same on Sunday against the Red. This is what I'm saying, against the Red Devils. That's my part of the quote. But on Sunday as well against the Red Devils. And no, I'm not going to put on Arnie Slot's accent.
He can barely put on his own accent at the moment, man. Give him a break.
I know. But for those thinking that there isn't a role for Endo to play, I think you're very, very misunderstood or mistaken. I think that Endo has a role in this team. I think Endo could provide that option of a destroyer when it is needed, but it is not a role that we are utilizing as our priority. And I think that's why a lot of people, when I do critique their assessments of our team or critique their assessments of what we need for our team, I think that they overlook the fact that our team does have some very comparable parts to it, parts that Slot does value. And Endo is one of those parts. Despite him being 31 years old, I think that he is still a part of this team that will play a part for us this season. He is certainly has had cult hero moments, and I think that he could have more of those coming up in this upcoming campaign.
Well, look, if you haven't, I think he's come out and said he's been diplomatic about having the squad and using it.
Yeah.
Definitely, if he was sold, he would have been sold. And we would have brought in someone else. And we'd be waxing lyrical about him, and we'd be wishing Endo all the best. But we didn't. So he's said now he's happy to work at what he has. Again, I think he's been left down a little bit by what he probably would have wanted to bring in. But again, he's not going to turn around and say, I can't work with that guy. Of course, he's going to be able to work with him. But yeah, I don't know. It's not like an overwhelming kind of endorsement. I just think it's a guy that we have. He's going to get used. And
if you heard the rest of the quotes, you would think that it was a good one. I didn't include all the other quotes. He spoke.
No, it is. Yeah, no, he is good. Look, he's going to. But I mean, look, we all know that if that bid had been a little bit higher or had been worked, then like I said, we would have brought in someone else, and we'd be waxing lyrical about him. We'd be talking about what a good player we have in this guy. And again, saying thanks to Endo, and I hope you have a great career, but he is here now, and he will be able. Now, I think that's probably why, thinking about it, knowing that Endo isn't going to move, is why we maybe decided to let Basic go. Yeah. Because he would, would there be that much room there if Endo is going to stay? Because I think Endo would be the more senior option, to bring in over Basic, probably.
Glad to hear Slot come out and say, it's a long season and we're going to need everyone.
Oh, he's going to find out pretty quick, man. He's going to find out pretty quick in England. It is crazy.
That's why I'm explaining the reason why is also Basic is a very talented player. I think he's more of what we have in that pivot role now with Grava, or what.
Oh yeah, totally different Endo. Oh, sorry. Yeah, totally different player than Endo. Yeah, but it's just in terms of minutes overall kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, right. If Endo was gone, maybe Basic, again, different player, but he might have got more time.
I'd be glad for Endo to get some Champions League football because it was one of the reasons he came. And it'd be nice for Endo to get a few Champions League.
What's funny about that, Lee? What's really funny about that is if he had stayed at Stuttgart, he would have been getting it. He would have been getting it anyways. actually.
Why have they qualified for Champions
Yeah,
League?
They're in the Champions League this year.
Yeah, they finished second last year.
Yeah,
Bayern
they made a real.
Bayern didn't just not win the league; they finished third.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, everyone talks about like Stuttgart is getting like Stuttgart fans are probably sitting there going, "What about us?"
Yeah,
Everyone was talking about Leverkusen. Stuttgart
yeah.
finished
I
second.
mean, considering all things
crazy.
considered, Stuttgart were on the verge of, excuse me, being relegated.
Yeah,
Sorry about
I
that.
mean, Leverkusen stole all the limelight, and obviously unbeaten. Of course, everybody's going to be talking about them. But like, yeah, Stuttgart is just like little old us finishing second. Nobody's talking about it. But that's just life in Germany, I suppose. Um, Bayern is the story. Bayern losing, Bayern not doing something is the story
It's
as
a
much
bigger
as someone
story
else
than
doing
yeah,
something.
a team going from like the
Yeah.
bottom of the table to second place. Yeah, that's a huge story. I mean, they faced relegation twice with Endo on the team in the
The
years.
home of Porsche. The home
Yeah.
of Porsche. You know, Stuttgart is a motor racing town, so it wouldn't even be a big football side. You know, it's not like they're a sleeping giant type thing. They're a small club. You know, it's not like they're one of those random German clubs that has hard times, is big, comes back. They are just a small club. They always will be. So for them to do that, it's pretty spectacular. But that's why German football is a little bit more interesting sometimes because it's not that predictable. If you take the Bayern thing out of it, it's really unpredictable.
There was something that was all right. Speaking on, we'll talk about the news outside of Liverpool. And I did say we were going to talk about Sancho and Sterling, but before we do, let's talk about someone that was connected to Liverpool at least, and that is the fact that apparently West Ham is very keen on bringing Ox back to the Prem.
Oh, where is he's in Turkey, right?
He is in Turkey. Yes, he is
okay.
in Turkey currently. Yes. So they are interested in bringing. Ox wants to return to. Obviously, he wants to get back to Premier League. He is currently at how do you say Besiktas, right? Besiktas. Besiktas. And
How
it
did
was
he get
getting
on?
some play time there. He did get injured here and there throughout the year for them, unfortunately.
Yeah. Water is wet. Ox got injured, but
Right. But he is interested in looking at possibly making a return to the Prem, and West Ham are very open to possibly bringing the player back home. Let me just say this first. I would say, Ox, I hope that the move happens for you. I wish you the best. And I always thought that Ox was a very cool and very a very good representative for Liverpool. He was often the face that got put onto the behind the scenes things, or like they did like they do something like I don't know, like the hip hop. How do you do the how well do you know hip hop to the 3 4 players, something like that, or or those kinds of like side behind like extra content. He was
the
often
stuff that matters.
Yeah,
The stuff that matters. Yeah, forget goals, forget assists. The stuff that matters.
And let's be honest, he did put in some.
No,
he
was
did
brilliant.
put in some real.
No, look,
He did put in some real shifts for us too.
One of
Despite
my best
him being injured, he did put in some shifts and some important shifts for us during some important runs.
I've said it from day one. Billy, my Arsenal mate, best mate, he said, look, when we signed him, he said, look, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're doing that, because what you're going to get is what we got. He's an absolutely brilliant player. He'll be brilliant for a short spell, and then he'll get injured. And then he'll come back, and then he'll be brilliant, then he'll get injured. And that's pretty much what happened. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like that game against Man City, he looked like the best player in the league. 2 days later, 2 weeks later, whatever, then he's out. But that's just always been his career, and that's just his. But he was on his day, yeah, that's why you bought him, because of what he could do on his day. But yeah, one of those players that it was never on him. He's just one of those guys. It was just always ever a matter of time that he was going to get an injury and they'd be out for a few months. But on it, yeah. It was a real surprise when we signed
as
him.
Bernie says, he was a great dressing room guy. He was a really good character to have in the dressing room. Helped with a lot of the youth players. Was able to make that little bit of a bridge between the younger generation and the older generation. And despite some of us bringing up some of your negatives or some of the lack of things, I'm just going to say Ox. I'm not focused on that because you're currently not a Red. I wish you the best. I hope that you do well with the rest of your career, and I hope that it does bring you back to the Prem and bring you back to being home in England. I also wanted to bring up
also just to say that was I accentuated all the positives there, and I just if you look at his injury,
that's true.
But I'm just saying, you look at his injury record. The guy has an injury. He'll tell you that himself, I'm sure. It isn't slagging him off.
I'm sure he doesn't lead with it.
No, but it's not slagging him off. I never slagged him off. I never once slagged him off. I never said I'm not slagging him off. I'm not slagging him off.
I got you.
But I mean, you can't mention him
without mentioning his injury record. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You can't sit here and say, "Oh, but he's won it." Like we all talk about how Mo is super fit. It's just like I say, I said it's not on him. He was unlucky with injuries, and that's just it. Some people are, and it was a surprise when we signed him. But like I say, I always go back to that Man City goal.
Yeah.
That injury against Roma in the Champions League semi-final, that would have ended the player's career years ago, but they've got better physios now to keep players going.
Most of these boys, if they were playing the 80s, they wouldn't be playing anymore. Half of these boys, like Reece James, they would have been finished years ago. So if this was the 80s, some like the injuries these guys get, one of them and you're done. Now they can come back, like Wirtz, Chiesa, all these guys, probably in the 80s.
Yeah,
you're looking at that's your career done, boy. Sorry.
I remember Jim Beglin. Jim Beglin was turning out to be a brilliant left back for Liverpool to replace Alan Kennedy, and he was dead cheap. Like we bought him straight from Ireland, and then Gary Stevens crunched him with this leg breaker at bloody at Goodison in the cup, and that was the end of Jim Beglin, mate. And we struggled to find a left back after that. We went through left back after left back after left back after left back. It was just never. It was just hard. He would have been great, Jim Beglin.
I was going to bring up. Speaking of, I know I see the chat is talking about Chiesa. How we are reportedly close to completing the deal, according to David Ornstein. Another player that does play a winger position at least, and is not Liverpool. Well, is Liverpool related technically? Is Mr. Sterling. Apparently, he will accept the compromise if the overall severance package and alternative club is suitable, but he will not ask for a transfer. He's willing to just sit there and collect his checks.
Can't do that.
And that is putting pressure on Chelsea. Sporting directors Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart to come up with an agreeable golden goodbye to see Sterling quit.
But do you know why? Do you know why he won't ask for a transfer?
Go ahead. Let me just. I only have one more sentence.
There is a reason for there is, but I'll come in. There's a reason for that. But go on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But let me just. I only have one more sentence. There are only 3 working days left before the transfer. At least at this time of this report, window shuts at 11 p.m. this Friday. After that, Sterling cannot move until January at the earliest. Go ahead, Brian. What were you going to say? Yeah,
there's a point of question in that or statement that he won't ask for a transfer, and there's a reason for that. It basically comes down to a loyalty bonus. If you get sold by your club without asking to be transferred, they owe you a loyalty bonus. If you request a transfer, you immediately lose your loyalty bonus, and that could be up to 3 million 2 million, 3 million, anything like that. But that's a real point that he won't ask for a transfer because they're selling him without him requesting one means they owe him. They're breaking as soon as he says, I want to leave, that loyalty bonus is gone. That's a really big thing for some players. That could be worth millions. So, like, that's the game they're playing right there. They have to get him out. And he's going to sit there going, I'm not going to put it in a transfer request. No chance.
Well, it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt when you're making like $325,000 a week.
Yeah, but that means he's writing off. He's basically writing off a check that Chelsea will owe him. If they sell him without him asking to leave, they owe him money basically. No, but I know that, but every player has one of these. That loyalty bonus. That's not something that gets talked about a lot, but it can be worth millions if you're being sold. And that's why Chelsea don't want to have that extra 2-3 million on the books. But yeah, that's why he's sitting there going, I know you want me to say, can I have a transfer? But nope. No, I'm not saying it. Not going to say it. Those three little words ain't going to say it.
Oh, yes. I see what the chat is saying too. I'll bring that up in a second, chat. I see you're talking about Richard Keys. I have that. I do have that.
What has that hairy gorilla said now?
He's said some stupid comment in the about the fact that our style of play is not a sustainable style of play or something along those lines. But what I was going to get at is that this deal now, or the fact that he's not pushing for a deal is one thing, but now Chelsea is being pushed against the wall to make something happen. That's the obvious. They don't want to eat that deal, eat the deal of having this player that they have no intentions of playing. Just simply sit back and continue to make money off this deal. He has 3 years left, so they have to pull a trigger on something. They looked out there and saw the Red Devils as a possible solution, considering that they have a player on their team that isn't exactly beloved by their coach. And as a case, it is being put out there that it could be some type of a swap deal that sees Sancho go to Chelsea and sees Sterling move on to Manchester. I don't really understand this deal. It still doesn't make much sense to make that deal. The reason why I say that is because you're talking about a 24-year-old that does make about the same amount of wages as Sterling, but you're now bringing in what is he, 31? I want to say. How old is Sterling? It's crazy because
he's not that old. He's not 31. No way is he 31.
How old is Sterling?
Yeah, he came in when he was like 15. So
maybe he's
that's why he seems. Yeah, he's like
20. He's 30. He's about to turn 30. My fault.
He's about to
turn 30 in 2 months. So
okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Older than I thought.
Yeah, he turns 30 in 2 months. So, you're talking about bringing in a 30-year-old for a 24-year-old that are on about the same wages, but still, how that answers a problem or issue for either team, I don't understand. Now, it certainly is a bigger upside for Chelsea to do that because you have a younger player and maybe, and they're both talented players, but I just don't know. I just want to see how that works out. What are your feelings on that, Lee? Do you have I know you don't probably could care less, like most of us care less.
I'm still thinking about Wolfman Richard Keys, Richard the Wolfman Keys with his hairy arms. God, he used to breakfast television when I was a young man and a child, and his hairy arms were always freaked you out. Like it was just like coming out of the bottom of his shirt thingies, like in those shirt sleeves. I know he's married to an Evertonian and he doesn't have much time for Liverpool, but he said, the slot football has no future or something.
I think he said it wasn't sustainable. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's like the way that we're going about passing it. He made a comment about like he made a comment about the atmosphere. He made a comment about the
easy shot to take.
Yeah,
Man's
I'll get it. I'll get the
man's
exact
a
quote.
dickhead. He always has been.
Go ahead, say what you're saying.
No, we can do it. Like I can steer us back on course here. Like the Sterling and Sancho thing, I think they're just trading hot potatoes. I just think I I can see Sterling needing to leave. I can see Sancho needing to leave, but I don't see why either of them would go to either of those clubs, or why either of those clubs would want either of those players. Like Man United don't need Sterling. Sancho to Chelsea. Chelsea don't need another winger
Don't
on
make
400 grand a week.
sense, does it?
They have Mudryk, they have Madueke. Well, they're probably going to sell that guy. They have Nkunku. They have all these people that I've probably forgotten half of them. You know, and now they're going to turn around and do this. It just stinks. It's just like you take our problem off our hands, and we'll take your problem off your hands. And I think Sterling is probably looking at going, wow. I mean, Liverpool fans are really going to love me now, aren't they? I've done the whole fucking Man City and Chelsea and Man United triumvirate. I mean, he's played. That's a deal that is just going to stink for everybody involved. It won't work for Sancho. It won't work for Sterling. It won't work for United, and it won't work for Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
But they're. I was just going to say, just in terms of this kind of, I think we potentially over the last few years now, just because of the way transfers and things like that and FFP and all of that has gone, and the lack of the wheeler dealer type managers, more sensibly run clubs. The whole like deadline day is kind of finished. There hasn't really been a big, busy like Sky Sports. It used to be deal done, deal done, deal
Mm-hmm.
done. This guy's going here. I think we might actually be looking at a busy one this season for the first time in a while. I think over the next couple of days, you might see panicky clubs doing a lot of deals because there's a lot of clubs out there with players that they absolutely don't, because they've gone out on a limb. Like Chelsea have basically done this thing now where, oh, you can go, dude. We don't want you. You're out. We don't want you anymore. Go get yourself a club. And he's like, well, if I don't get a club, you owe me. You're still paying my wages. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And now they're sitting there going, we played this badly. No one's come in for him. Oh, shit. It's like we made a big deal about, taking his number away and all of that. No one's come in and give us what we want. Now now it's up to you to make him leave. You have to give him a place to go. Because he's just sitting there going, I'm not going to ask for a transfer and I'm not giving up my wages, so it's on you.
Happen, mate. So he gets annoyed and starts saying stuff in the background, like about what
That's what they're trying to do.
That's
what they're trying to do. That's why I'm a little bit worried about this Trent stuff, because with my super, super cynical hat on, and I saw a few comments last night that made me think, again, with my super cynical hat on, that it'd be a lot easier for Trent to leave if Liverpool fans didn't like him anymore. And some of the comments last night about, well, if he's going to be like this, if he's going to be like that, Real Madrid might be saying to him, well, show a little bit of this, show a bit of disrespect here, refuse to do an interview there, show, a bit of petulance, because like I said, acting like that, getting taken off on 72 minutes made no sense to me. And getting very, very down a rabbit hole on it, but I've seen it before where players start acting up for no reason. So it's easier for them to walk away because, well, the fans, you see it like what fans are like now. One bad day and everyone's like, oh, if he's going to be petulant, if he's going to be like that, get rid of him, get rid of him. Real Madrid are rubbing their hands at that. They are absolutely rubbing their hands at that. That's a media narrative, and these things that can be created.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Oh my God, Jimmy, is that true? Jesus. I mean, I'm not even going to read that.
I'm not going to bring that one up.
Wow.
But
what a load.
I was going to say the quote with the Richard Keys thing was, he says, I think whilst he's winning games, excuse me, he'll be okay. But that was eerily quiet today, says Keys. If they start running in mud a little, I think the crowd will start to get a little bit uneasy. They go out to be entertained, and the brand of football he's likely to serve up. The goal, fantastic. I mean, no complaints, but too much passing and no intensity. I think there'll be one or two Liverpool fans wanting what they've been used to and not that. She says slot style of play will not go down well at Anfield.
There speaks a man who doesn't even support Liverpool. What the hell is he babbling about?
Exactly. Telling Liverpool fans what they won't and will and won't like from Richard LFC Keys. Yeah, I think he's misjudged his audience again on that one. Nobody up here or up there cares what he says.
Agreed.
The guy, yeah, look, I've seen Virgil come up and say he's already getting annoyed. He said, I don't want to say annoyed, but he's already sick of, but it was like this under Klopp. It's like, get over it. It's not like new manager. I think you've got people out there that see. Richard Keys is of the opinion that every Liverpool fan out there loved the way we were playing last year. We didn't. You know, he hasn't been in England in about 10 years.
Right.
So he thinks it's like Klopp from 10 years ago, and that's what we want. We know it hasn't been that kind of football the last couple of years. You know, we weren't playing that last year. So I think there's plenty of Liverpool fans out there open and happy to see change and see what comes of this. We're not expecting it to be instant Arnie slot, especially with no new signings, to instantly be, so this is how Liverpool play now. To say that after 2 games is crazy.
I'll say this after 2 weeks. Be sure to keep an eye on your fantasy football league teams. Be sure to make sure that the team or the players that you have go actually into the actual lineup, apparently, because it looks like I got gypped out of starting Erling Haaland. That took away 17 points for me. So
did you have him on your bench?
Yeah, I would never have had him on my bench. I tried to. They put some other player in there. It was kind of weird. It had like some dude off the bench that I didn't even had. We were playing Brentford. I wouldn't have picked Brentford, and it had him as my captain. I had Haaland as my captain originally to start, and it switched out. It switched out.
The game won't switch out. You'd have to. I'll look at that later. You've done something. I know what you're saying, but the game doesn't do.
I don't know.
Maybe you didn't save something, but I'll look at that for you if you want. I'll tell you what.
It had Visa or however you pronounce his name from Brentford as my captain. Why? There was no way there's no way I would pick the team that we're going against to captain against Liverpool. That wouldn't be.
No.
You know what I mean? I would never do that.
The game doesn't do things like that. The game, something's gone wrong there.
I know that.
I know what you're saying. No, I know what you're saying. But if I look,
all the same, I'm in last place. It's all good. Yeah. And I also am proud to say that Ryan McGuire is in first place with 147 points. He had 71 points last week. Ian made a dramatic charge to the top. He is now in second place. Chris Angel, another dramatic charge to the top. He was possibly, I think, he was the biggest scorer. He had the biggest week last week, 93 points. He's now at 134 points in third place. James Cardinell is in fourth place, and he has pushed JC or JK out of first place and has pushed him down to fifth place. It has now seen JK, Daz, and Lee all getting dropped down from their perch and find themselves in fifth, sixth, and seventh place. Oh, big up! I didn't know that. Red for life. Big up, James. I got you now. I didn't know. I'm sorry if I said your government name. Maybe I shouldn't have. I'll just put it. Yeah, you've done well. Slatas is the name of his team, his Red for Life's team, and yes, they are doing well. Fourth place.
Good.
Yeah, we'll see about it. We'll see about it. I would have had actually 50. I would have had a decent run. I would have about 62 points or something like that. Anyways, be sure to get your picks in for this week. We have it's always best to get them in as soon as possible. That way you're not like and then if you have any last minute changes that you want to make, you can always do that. But it's always good to at least get a team in there. So that you make sure that you don't forget about doing your updates when it comes to getting your team in.
Yes. Yes and no. If you are new enough to the game, decide on who your transfers are 100%. But you only get one a week. So if you want to do more than one a week, you'd have to go minus points.
I'm not talking about transfers, but go ahead. I'm talking about your lineups. I'm talking about your lineups, yeah.
Oh, your lineups, yeah. But you set your lineup what they call the bus lineup. So it's basically if you were to get hit by a bus tomorrow, your team would be set for the weekend kind of thing. That's what they call the bus team. So get your bus team ready, but have your transfers ready to go, but leave your transfers until as late as possible. Don't be bringing in transfers on Monday morning because you have a whole week of training. So if you're playing it, keep an eye on injury updates and all that if you have your guy, but don't bring in someone, on Monday morning and then have all week of them training. They're not playing till Sunday. Just leave it until not as late as possible, but keep an eye on injuries and all that. Know who you want to bring in, but don't do it too early because, like I say, someone can get a kick in training and then, you brought in a guy, now he's injured. Now you got to bring in someone else. Now you're on -4 and then you go, well, I've got to change that. Now you end up on -8. So always leave your transfers as late as you possibly can, but have your mind made up on what you're going to do. And have
this
your
is coming from someone that does well in fantasy, by the way.
Yeah,
this is someone that does well, knows the game, knows a thing or two about winning leagues and winning things in fantasy football. Brian is definitely that guy.
Just seen a story on my phone there saying Cooper Miners is looking likely to join Juventus in a 58 million euro move.
Done to 58. I knew it was done all season, but 58. Jesus.
I wanted to bring this up before any Cooper Miners talk at least. And that is the new kit. That's what the kit's going to look like on our players. That is our number 6, whether you like it or not, right now. And that's the kit we're going to be wearing against Manchester United this weekend. It has been released that we already had the release about or the leak or the release of that this will be our 3rd kit, but it has been put out there that this is the kit that we will put on against the Red Devils at Old Toilet. And I like the kit. I know some people are neither here nor there when it comes to the Nike symbol, the swoosh being the way it is. I actually kind of like it because it distinguishes this kit from others in that it's one of the few kits that I've ever seen with that kind of swoosh that in that direction. So it definitely makes it a very special kit in itself. And it's something that I'm looking forward to seeing on the pitch come Sunday.
I got some stuff I can sell you, man. Don't worry, I'm just going to change around some symbols and stuff. $5,000 special unique kit. All you got to do is turn. Yeah, I get it's different. I don't mind it. I mean, just as some to me, it just looks wrong. It's like I wear Nike. I wear Nike. But I wear Nike like MD runners, like the old school 70s stuff. I just love my Nike stuff. So to me, it just looks wrong. It's like it's going the wrong way. You know what I mean? It's not a Nike kit. I love that kit. To me, it's a classic, simple. We do it like I said. It's all red. The home kit. It's not that hard to make nice. That all white one. That's a really nice one. It's really not overly fussy. It's just a nice kit. I like that. That's a good one. The one that I always laugh when I see Ryan though, because it's like you see all the people, all the kids, they're always jacked, right? They're always, he looks so skinny, like the gap, the sleeves are always hanging off him. you know he's never going to be like a muscular guy, but he's so big. He doesn't need. He just got this kind of real slim build on him. You see
Mhm.
the other guys, like most guys, if they're wearing that now, like the sleeves would be stuck to their biceps. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But Ryan
Mhm.
always looks like just some kid from back in the day. You know, none of this bodybuilding crap. You know, he's just big and strong. Um, I like that in him. You know, he's light. He's not overly heavy. He's not overly
Does
muscular.
athletic build, hasn't he? Like,
Yeah, athletic. Yeah, he's just strong naturally. He doesn't have to go to the gym and build up a load of muscle. He's just a real natural build for a footballer. You don't want to see him getting, putting on 20 pounds of muscle or something. He doesn't need it. But it's just funny because you see all the kids, they all have big muscles. They all have tats. He doesn't have any of that. He's just old school. You know, I like him.
Mhm. Um, we are supposed to also have the unveiling of a new of the goalkeeping kit too. I'm trying to find the 2024 one, but I think that we're also going to see another variation of the goalkeeper's kit as well this weekend.
Yeah, that's a good shout, Red for Life. Trainioni. He's very like that. So he's skinny, kind of. He's kind of naturally, he's real slim looking.
Absolutely, is a shout. I think that's one of the reasons why we possibly have given up, or not given up, but are looking to allow for the loan to happen once again to Stefan Bichettic,
Yeah,
because
I said it. Thing. Yeah.
I mean, like I think that we have some very high hopes for Trainioni to actually get some playing time, whether it's with
Oh yeah.
obviously
He
with the young with the
he's
under
my shout
21s.
for a breakout. He's my
Yeah,
shout for a breakout season this year. I think he's going to actually play in games like proper
yeah.
games. Hopefully.
I think Bernie's right. They probably are. They probably
Yes.
are.
Oh God, Shaq's calves. Oh my God,
Yeah,
they're not.
he's pocket.
Yeah,
I used to call him Pocket Hulk, I guess, when it came to his legs.
we call him Power Cube. We
Yeah,
call him Power Cube. He's just little cute, just Power Cube. You know, a tiny
yeah,
little thing, all muscle.
yeah.
He, when he hit one from range, that's where that power came in. You could see it. Like he only scored worldies basically.
Uh, yeah. We are. Well, I like the white kit here.
Nice
I
kid.
think it's gonna be interesting to see it on display this Sunday, because I'm hoping not only is it on
What
display this Sunday, but I'm hoping that it is something to be remembered as a kit that saw
what
us.
color are the shorts though?
The shorts are you can't really see them in this picture, but they're
I
black.
hope they're white. Oh, they're black. Oh, okay.
You see them you see at the bottom there. That's the shorts that they're going to be too.
Oh
It's like
yeah, I
black
wasn't
with a
sure if he
red.
was just wearing. I wasn't sure if he was wearing the whole kit or if he was just wearing the top
Yeah,
with like some Okay, so
he
they're
is
black.
wearing. Let me see if I can see the whole third kit. Um, but that is the shorts are black and they have like a red, uh, obviously Liverbird emblem.
Socks are probably white then. I hope the
Probably
socks are white.
so.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let
Kumas
me
for the
see.
goal and assist in the league. Oh, nice. In the League Cup. That's nice. Kumas for the goal and assist tonight. Everton are playing tonight, I think. The League Cup starts tonight for the teams that aren't in Europe.
Mm-hmm,
Some of
mm-hmm.
the Premier League teams. So Kumas has a goal and assist already tonight, apparently.
Starting off well, man. Kumas is doing well for himself. He's definitely doing well. I don't have a picture of the entire outfit together, but I'm almost positive that is the actual like one, because I don't think. Oh, you know what? Maybe I think they have a picture with the girls, the ladies team wearing them too. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Because in the picture they have a picture where they're like sitting down, but I'm not certain if they're wearing shorts or if they're just wearing like you know uh, pants and stuff, kind of very similar to the way that they had for the last year's campaign for Liverpool. They had the red kits on, and then they went all 70s, like retro 70s style with the Argyle pants on Darwin, and
I didn't like that at all, man. Didn't like that. I hated that photo shoot. I didn't like it at all.
The Duke of Argyle.
Yeah, if you're going, no, I don't mean the Darwin went that whole one where they were all wearing like Burberry and stuff. It's just like, and yeah, it's just like they're football kids. You can't make them look cool with something else, especially like just by making them like £1,000 freaking trousers from Burberry or something. I don't know, but yeah, it looked all wrong.
I don't see it on here. I'm trying to find it, but I don't see it on here. Anyways, if I can find it for next time, I will bring it up. I'll bring it up maybe for our player review, but I don't see it as of right now. Yeah, I don't see it as of right now as to what it's going to be looking like. Remember, I did see it. They showed it on Twitter, and I remember seeing it on there. But
I haven't watched Man United get beat off Brighton yet. I'll watch that like after tonight's stream's over. Like I'll watch it like to laugh at it before we get to grip them at the weekend.
Yeah, they're all. Who did they play in the other one? What was their first game? They won, didn't they? Fulham at home or something?
Home, yeah. They beat Fulham, didn't they?
Fulham at home, I think it's 2-1 or something. But they were playing with Bruno Fernandes as a false 9. I think in both of those, because Højlund is injured, and that Xerxes guy that they brought in as a striker. I think I didn't know he was a striker. He got a game. He got a goal the other day. I think so. They got Rashford, Bruno playing as a false 9. They look like, I don't want to, tempt fate, but they don't look very good. They look like a bit of a mess.
But they didn't finish last season too well, apart from the FA Cup final victory. They were very patchy, weren't they, last season at the end? And drifted right out of the placings and leagues, didn't they, for Europe until he won the FA Cup.
Yeah, they're trying to buy that guy, isn't it? They're saying that's done. Ugarte. I think the Ligt started on the bench in the Brighton game, so we could be playing a team that has the Ligt starting and Ugarte starting. I wouldn't even know what to make of them, man. They got Mazraoui as a right back. They sold Wan-Bissaka. What else did they do? They brought in that guy Xerxes. I wouldn't even know what kind of side we'd be facing, what kind of lineup we'd be looking at there. I mean, Rashford is still getting games. Casemiro, they're selling McTominay to Napoli, I think, to bring in Ugarte. Then, like Ugarte, first game of the season, or first game ever for your new club. What are we going to do? Oh, it's Liverpool at Old Trafford. Would you be doing that?
Probably not. I'll show you real quick here. Let me show you real quick here the other ones I was talking about. So this is going to be the third kit or the away kit, or the kit that Ali's going to be wearing in the Old Trafford game. Is going to be this one, this green one. And you asked about the shorts. It's going to be these shorts that are going to be all black. I mean, they're just black shorts with like a white trim going down the side. And then you asked about the socks. They're going to be these white socks.
Oh, yeah. That's classic. Yeah, that looks better, yeah.
So that's what it looks like. It's going to be the ensemble.
Nice combo.
Yeah, let me see. There is a picture. Actually, there was a better picture of the actual shorts. Let me see if I can show you that quick. Let me show you this then real quick. This is what it looks like right here on the left. Like the Liverpool, then it has the little Nike swoosh on the left, and then it has like a white stripe going down down the side. So those are the shorts, those are the socks, and that's the kit. So with that said, how are you guys feeling about the sheer fact that we might have some transfers coming in? Are you guys a little bit easier, feeling a little bit easier? You know, I know I got on Barnes about this on his show. It's difficult because some people are pretty sensitive, but I know Barnes was in our chat pretty much shouting, screaming from the top of the rafters about how we're not getting any signings. We're not getting any signings. It's not happening. If you think there are, you're kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself. And it looks like we are. He thought this because I didn't put my bank account to it. I mean, like, it's a silly question. I mean, I'm not gonna get the return on putting my bank account up against someone if it ends up being a bet. So that's kind of a silly bet. But all the same, it looks like we are going to get some signings in other than just the goalkeeper signing. So yeah, you guys feeling a little bit better, a little bit more at ease about the window, and a little bit more closer to feeling, I should say, certainly at ease because it's going the direction of what we were told it was going to go, which is at the end of the last week of the window, look for signings to happen because that's the most opportune time for us to get these signings done, considering the summer, the way the summer was unfolding for all the teams and all the players. Irishman, are you a little bit more at ease, or is it?
No, not at all. No, we haven't signed anybody in the positions that we needed to sign to improve. I had 3 positions that I wanted to improve: centre half, holding midfield, DM, and then a backup for Mo, like going in that order. So it
I'm not
looks
laughing
like
at you. I'm laughing at Marion, by the way, too. Yeah.
It looks like we've got maybe the backup for Mo, which was kind of the least most important thing. But if we were to finish this transfer window only having brought in, the goalkeeper, which is an excellent deal, for the future, brought him in and, let him go back, that's great. All over that. But no, if it's just Chiesa, no. I mean, we haven't addressed the 2 main areas. The 2 main areas.
Yeah.
No, I've got no. The 2 main areas were centre half and DM.
Excuse me.
And they haven't been. Again, there is, like you said, 3 days now. Is it 3 days?
Yeah.
We could still see.
Technically Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so 4 days technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 days really.
So, I mean, I'm not going to say it's done. Obviously, the window hasn't slammed shut, as they say. But while it's still open, I won't judge it. But if this was to be it, yeah, I'd be left a little bit, disappointed, definitely.
Okay. How about for you, Lee?
Yeah, I'd be disappointed
Are you,
if we don't.
a little bit more optimistic? I'm asking, are you a little bit more optimistic that we will get something done and there'll be something worth appreciating, or are you
not really? No, I'm sort of feeling the window is done for us. Like, unfortunately, until January, that's how I feel about it. That will be the status quo. Like, come the close of the window, that our last business was Mamadash, really.
You don't think we get Chiesa even?
No.
No, you don't think we'd even get Chiesa? Okay. All right. Because I was including that.
Okay. I was just asking because I thought maybe we could end the show a little bit of a brighter note, a little happier moment.
Maybe no, I think we will get something.
I am happy enough without players. Like, as long as we can have someone identified for January, because that was the worst thing. When after Zubamendi fell apart, like, our window was just like in dire straits, wasn't it? Like, you know what I mean? We didn't know where we were. It was like, this hasn't happened. Now what? So hopefully by January we'll have a clue what we're doing. We'll have a strategy by January to implement and go ahead with.
Okay. Just asking. You know how I like to bring a little bit of like positivity and hope to my Reds as always.
I still think we have one. I don't think it's done with Chiesa. I'm still thinking that there will be something other than Chiesa in a more defensive role. Like
I agree with
either
that. I
as a
agree with that.
defender, I think with even though it's like we say 3 days, like I won't judge it until it's over the window. But I do think we have got one more deal left. Like Mama, Chiesa, and either a centre half or a DM. I still think that's going to happen.
I still think we're going to get something across the line, especially if we're going to let go of Joe. We're going to get someone to fill that role for our defensive measures. I think we're also going to see, obviously, I think it's a welcome sight to be bringing in a player.
I'm pissed that we got a centre back because, you know, Zubimendi was not a centre back. Yeah, that messed up our midfield plans. But surely we were looking at centre backs because, I mean, like massive finished. Like, surely we were looking at centre backs when we knew he wasn't going to be here next season.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm hopeful that we do.
I am too. I'm hopeful. I'm not closing the window.
I think we've all been asking. Considering we've all been asking for a right wing cover for a long, long time, if we get this deal across the board, it might not be the greatest name to put in that position at the current moment of his career, but maybe we do what we do best, and that is revitalize careers or revitalize players into.
It's not very FSG though when you think about it, is it actually? Now that you just said it. It's not on a very FSG signing, this one.
It's not.
Like we're buying Chiesa when he's 23. That's right. FSG. That's Edwards. This is a very unusual one, actually. The more you think about it,
I think this is one. I think this is one of those opportunity.
Yeah,
games.
I think so too. I definitely think. Yeah, I think it's just like, look, how badly can it be for 12 million? I mean,
I
mean,
you get a player of this level.
Don't say that to the kid or anything.
Yeah.
Don't say it to him, how bad can he be for 12 million? You want to say to him, hey, brilliant, come in, But no, I'm with you, man. I'm being hopeful. I'm not slamming it shut. I think there's one, and I'm counting Mama done. I'm counting Chiesa done. I still think there's one more.
Good for you.
I still think that's what I'm saying. I still think there's one more that can be done.
Right.
Where it is, I don't know, but it's not going to be a Coleman or a Gordon or something like that. No, it has to be and I think it's the other way around. It's like Gomez will only go if we bring someone in. I've been wrong on this whole season. Oh, we won't let him go, but I mean, there's no way really I can see him leaving if we don't bring someone in. I mean, surely I know we're really are throwing the baby out with the bathwater now. We're just getting rid of everybody. Without bringing people.
I get what you're saying.
But that would surely be a little bit too much to leave us that short and go, Evo and Virgil will stay fit, and then sure, we've got Kwanzaa and Nat Phillips, and sure, we'll be grand. No, come on. I mean, 40 million in for Gomez, and next thing you know, Hincape, whatever it is. That's what I see happening.
No, I get it. I get it. I think that we might bring in Mohamed Samakin from RB Leipzig, considering our relationship with the RB group. I think that we could see a deal like that come through. Very talented player. I also think that a lot of these players, again, are viable players, but we'll get more into that. We have some really good shows this week, despite the fact that I am a little under the weather. Trust me, don't worry. I'm not contagious. So hopefully the only thing that is contagious is my optimism and my positivity for our club, hopefully. And hopefully that resonates a little bit more so than my cough. But other than that, I appreciate each and every one of you guys and ladies for showing up and showing love by, participating in the chat, bringing in your thoughts and questions. And also, I'd love to say thank you to the panel. As always, I think that I have some great co-pilots here when it takes to, taking the Liver Bird up for a little spin. And that is the Irishman and Lee. Irishman, do you have anything you want to say to the people before we let them go on with their Tuesday?
No, just the usual. See you again tomorrow.
Yes. Okay. And Lee, would you like to say anything to the people?
Thanks to everybody for being here, and see you again.
Okay. Okay. Short and sweet. As always, we wish you the best. And if anything, if there's anything you should always keep in mind is up the Reds, people, up the Reds. And we'll see you tomorrow. All right. Take care, guys.